Hi, Stu. It's so good to see you. Thanks so much for taking time today to have this conversation. I've been really looking forward to it. And just to
Yeah.
start off, if you could just tell everyone your name and your credentials and what you do and a little bit about your background.
So my name is Stuart Malakoff. Call me Stu. I've been a financial advisor for 22 years now. Before that, I had a background in corporate banking. So I've been working with retail clients for a long time. Uh, I'm a certified financial planner. I have other accreditations specific to putting retirement plans together for companies. Uh, I'm also a certified divorce financial analyst, and that's actually a designation that I had gotten after my own divorce, and I wish I had it at the time. I was already a CFP. Uh, I had a couple of clients who I thought had a rock solid marriage, and out of the blue, they called to say that they were getting divorced, and I kind of felt ill-equipped to help them with that, and that's what prompted me to get my CDFA. I believe that was back in gosh, 2015,
Wow.
time ago.
Yeah. And you're part of a group, you have a firm, right? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so after over 15 years with Merrill Lynch, 3 years ago, almost to the day, so this was October of 2020, I left Merrill Lynch to start Ben Wealth Advisors. We are now a team of 6 people. We help clients in over 30 states and some other countries aside from the US. So it's just been a great experience kind of leaving the corporate world of financial planning and having our own independent shop.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing all that. I mean, the fact that you've been a CDFA, right, for as long as you have, and that your own journey and experience with your friend circle, prompted that and kind of opened the eyes wide open, so to speak, and like, where are the holes? So leading into, as someone, as a divorcing client that's just beginning their journey, what would you advise them? Like, what would be good kind of things to know amongst the overwhelm and disillusion, and
Yeah.
disillusionment?
Well, what I find a lot, and I think this is great, a lot of people are taking advantage of information that's available on the internet, and I think being informed and going into what is absolutely going to be an emotionally draining and often financially draining process. I think going into it with eyes wide open and informed as best as you can be is really smart. So, the first step might be to, yeah, do a little of your own research, but then engage with professionals.
Mhm.
Start thinking about what your team is going to look like because uh, you want to make sure that you're making good decisions. Uh, this is kind of a critical moment in one's financial journey. I realize this is divorce and this is a relationship decision, but regardless of where you are in your life, if you're young, if you're mid-career, if you're retired, if you're choosing to get divorced, or if it has been kind of thrust upon you, it's really critical to be making well thought out decisions because it is so emotional. So I think doing the homework ahead of time and getting up to speed on some of the critical aspects of divorce, and what's going to be involved for your own situation is really critical in achieving a good outcome for yourself.
Yeah, it is. It is that intersection. I really love that. It is that intersection between emotional overwhelm and critical financial decision making. So what I'm hearing is do not go it alone. Do not go and backpacking into that terrain alone.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I'll use myself as an example when I went through my own divorce. And again, I was already a certified financial planner, and I made all the wrong kind of rookie mistakes. I did not bone up as much as I
Mhm.
should have. I went into it with my own kind of conceptions about what it would look like. And it was not an ideal outcome, not only for me, but I would say also for my now ex-wife.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think it's again, circumstances
Yeah.
have a bearing here, but I think reasonable, rational people can probably agree that there can be a win-win situation. It doesn't need to be a win-lose. It doesn't need to be a
Yeah.
lose-lose, certainly. Um, there are ways to optimize the outcome from a financial perspective for both parties,
Mhm.
and that to me is uh, it's a worthy outcome to try to achieve.
Yeah, and I think that is really the strength of the team, right? Because it's hard to think that far ahead when you, as the person going through the experience, is in the ditch of it, right? I mean, it's like a deconstruction moment, and it's hard to like project out into 5 to 10 years. Will this feel good? It's like, no,
Yeah.
I need to like solve for this now. So that's a really good frame. And I think, what would one look for then in a financial advisor, CDFA? What are the qualities you would say?
Yeah. So, you know, the I think there has to be an expectation of some level of confidence. Someone who has a CDFA,
Mhm.
just by having that accreditation, that's a really good start
Yeah.
because to get the CDFA designation, you already need to know the basics of financial planning, and it's so critical uh, to kind of apply the divorce specific expertise to the larger financial planning template. So, regardless of the CDFA who you chat with, chances are they're going to know their
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
I think it really comes down to our personalities going to mesh well.
Mhm.
Is your CDFA accessible?
Mhm.
Because again, it's an emotional time, and things are going to come up. Oh my goodness, my ex just, or my soon to be ex just did this, and or my attorney said that, and what do you think?
Mhm.
And if it's going to take weeks and weeks to get an answer, that if you're kind of getting that feeling before you even engage with your CDFA, that may not be the right person.
Mhm. Yeah, that I mean, I've heard a lot of people say, like, does the personality match, right? Because this is a kind of a longer term, you're going to be in relationship with this person.
Oh
But I
yeah.
think that's really critical to note that the responsiveness, right? The accessibility, because at the end of the day, this person is your support team, right? It's like if you're cycling and your tire blows out in a cycling race, there's nobody to help you. That's a problem.
Um, I'd say too, the approach that we take at Ben Wealth Advisors, um, you know, my way of thinking, the divorce process, from beginning, before even an attorney has been engaged to the end where you've already got your settlement agreement or divorce decree, your consent decree, but there's still work to be done. That's a specialty within financial planning. And so the way that we approach the divorce, it's not just the mechanics of the divorce process itself. And, oftentimes this is it's getting informed, making sure all the facts are on the table, knowing what resources are available, and then hopefully having a constructive dialogue and negotiation around things like the equitable distribution, to the extent there's going to be spousal support, having productive conversations. But we're also looking often well into the future. What is it going to take to kind of optimize that negotiation if we are advocating for one spouse, and we think this is where we can add the most value? Typically there's going to be one spouse who is in a position of power and knowledge when it comes to the finances, and there will be one spouse who is not. We really want to chat with the spouse who's kind of been out of the picture with the finances of that marriage. And we want to be their advocate. And we want to not just help them navigate divorce, but set them up for success 10, 20, 30, 40 years in the future. And that's what goes into ideally creating a win-win situation for the divorce, because there may be some parts of the marital balance sheet that are going to be a better fit for one spouse over the other.
Yeah, and it's this idea that I really value so much, is that, that this crisis or this challenge, right, this crossing over this crisis can really be an empowering thing if you have a good advisory and support system, right? That while you're like deconstructing, you're really learning. And as you've just illustrated, that one person may have not ever looked this way towards the financials, right? And it's an opportunity not only to look, but to learn,
Yes.
and
so precisely. And so the divorce itself, it's not just a moment in time transaction. It's frankly an opportunity to do really thoughtful planning for the future.
Yeah, I was so empowering. And so you mentioned your experience, right, as the catalyst to kind of getting the certification. Is there anything in that, in hindsight, that like you realized you didn't know, or maybe another story, another client, something that was memorable that you really took something away that you could share with us?
Yeah, sure. And I should mention, I'm not the only CDFA at Ben Wealth Advisors. My right hand uh, woman, Aubrey Gould, who came with me, now Aubrey Swanson, she's since gotten married, came with me from Maryland. She's a CFA, and she's gotten her CDFA. So usually when we chat with a prospective client, it's going to be the two of us having that conversation. So earlier this year, it really was an aha moment for us and for our client. We got involved basically right as the settlement agreement was being signed. And so we're going to say this is a cautionary. And so we were looking at the financial statements that this client had and expected to walk away from the mortgage, from the divorce with, excuse me. And what we found on the 401k is that there was a loan that the now ex-husband had taken out without our client's knowledge. And our client was going to be responsible for servicing that loan, which had never even had any payments made over the past 5 years. So what we learned is, as capable as family law attorneys are, their expertise is in law. That is not, we are not giving legal advice, but we know the finances, and we quickly uncovered a very, very costly oversight that this client's attorney had missed.
We cannot specialize in every zone, right? Like we're all in our lane, and to be able to be integrated in that model is the best and highest use, right? For us all. And it's just like that. Yeah, like I said, I got chills, right? Because how like remarkable it is to be able to serve in that way at that like 11th hour. But I'm sure that's not the first time that's ever happened and been over, it's been an oversight, and not necessarily the fault of any particular team member. It's just like not their zone of genius. I see this in the
So
real estate side of things, right? It's like I'm sure you're not reading guidelines all day long, right? So you might just for fun, but it's not common practice. So it really is dependent on a whole team, right? And the client's participation and willingness. Yeah.
exactly. So, it was obviously not the way we wanted to start a conversation with
Yeah.
this particular client, but fortunately we were in a position to give her excellent advice and to basically orchestrate the most efficient way to kind of navigate that new issue that was thrown in her lap, and to give her financial guidance accordingly. Um,
Amazing.
so every case is different. Everyone is going to bring a different kind of set of resources to the table, a different set of circumstances. And at the end of the day, what a good CDFA is going to do is look at things on that individual basis and try to solve problems.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great like story to, wrap up with. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you want to share with us before I ask you how people can find you and look you up?
Well, I'd say in general, as hard as it is, if you are going through divorce, if you are thinking about it, but haven't yet kind of gone down that road, or if you're in the midst of it, as hard as it is, keeping a positive attitude
Yeah.
is really critical. You will get through it. It almost always takes longer than you think it will. There are roadblocks that pop up out of nowhere. A positive attitude is critical. That's one of the reasons why making sure that you not only have the legal and financial expertise, but if you think it's going to be beneficial, making sure that you're speaking with a therapist, and because at the end of the day, you're the one who is steering the ship. You're the one who's going to need to say, yes, I'm going to agree to that, or no, I'm not. And having being in a place where you can be positive, and uh, you're thinking about, gee,
Mhm.
I'm I'm getting ready for the next phase of my life, and I want to be in as good a situation as I can be financially, but also emotionally,
Mhm.
really critical. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
so
The ripple effect, right? You're the
yeah,
one that's going to live through and with the ripple effect of your own decisions at the end of the day. Yeah.
uh, we it's funny. People find us by looking at the IDFA website. They find us through Google and general searches. Uh, benwealth.com is our website. Info at benwealth is our email address. So, um, we love having those initial conversations and doing a free consult, and getting a general picture of what our
Yeah.
prospective clients' needs are going to be, and then working with that prospective client to decide if we're going to be the right team to be supporting
Love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of that. It was really insightful. And I think this is going to be really valuable for people at any stage down the path, right? And that may be using the Gospel of Google, and it would be a really good supplement. So that's all.
Power of Google, Manya. Never underestimate it.
Well, thanks so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. It was a great conversation.
My pleasure and great seeing you, Manya. Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye.